Wow. You guys remember that surprise I told you about last night? Sha-na-na-na. That 2-hour nap just kind of go.
It was good though. It was good.
Did you get a little something?
Yeah.
It always takes me like 30 minutes to kind of fall asleep, and then I get like an hour of sleep, and then I wake up thinking like, where are we? What's going on? What happened? Where are we? And then anyway, that's good. Well, we pushed till I think it was 5 o'clock. We're gonna call it last night, even though it was just 2 hours ago. 5 o'clock last night. We're still, I think we're about 500 miles out.
Ish.
Yeah. But Big Dog here did good. I mean, if you can jam till 5 o'clock, you can do anything, all right? If you can believe it, you can achieve it. Write that on a poster. Man, so we're looking around at fuel prices here. Rob's getting real close to being down. I've still got a fair bit left. So we're whipping around on our maps looking, just checking fuel prices to see where we should fuel. And sure enough, just down the road here, hang on. Sure enough, just down the road here, there is a jump scale open, which is so redundant and silly for South Dakota, because everybody funnels over to the freeway and goes on their way, like 99% of the rigs. But they came out at 7 a.m. and opened this jump scale. It's 45 minutes down the road. So anyway, when you know that there's a jump scale going, you got to make sure all your logbooks are squared away, especially when we're running together like this. Our timelines all kind of have to match up properly on paper. And they're fine. It's not like our timelines are illegal or anything. You just have to make sure that they're succinct. That way, when they do stop you or whatever, if they want to compare your logbooks, which would be crazy and extremely overzealous for 2 loaded cow trucks, but they could do that if they wanted, and we would jive. So anyway, we are gonna go down the road here and see. All of our paperwork square, licensing's all good, everything's good, so there's no reason. I'm right on the money. Rob's a touch heavy still on his drive axles by just a little bit, but shouldn't be anything we got to worry about. So let's cross your fingers. Hope to die. Stick a needle in your eye. This way you got to always look spry and awake and alert. I am spry and awake and alert. I feel great, actually. I feel great. Got out. Cattle are all good. Everybody took a nice rest, and they're all good. So, man, you guys, I was gonna try to film, but it's too hectic and too much. I'm worried about this and that. They were open. They were wide open. There was 4 DOT pickups. Only one of the 4 officers was inspecting. The other 3 guys were kind of hanging around chatting. So it's just a big pullout on the side of the road. So me and Rob eased in there, and there was another van trailer kind of in our little convoy. And the guy kind of, held up the hand to kind of not hold up, but just, he was trying to decide. He kind of stands there in the middle of the road, and then he goes, back on the road. It was like they were waiting for something. It was like they knew something was coming across there today, or this morning. Very rarely are they open at 7 a.m. That was the weird part of it. Anyway, we made it, you guys. No worries. No worries. I can't wait to see what old Rob was thinking there when when they waved us by. I bet he was nervous because he's the one that's overweight now. I'm legal because my cattle have shrunk so much, because I'm at this point, guys, I am 840 miles into my load. And he is not. He's only a couple hundred miles into his. We're going to stop right here and grab some fuel and kind of decompress a little bit, splash a little water in the beard, and rock and roll. You guys notice anything different about the old coconut? Got the visor on there. Got the visor looking pretty sharp on the outside. Not bad. We pull in there and he's like, he kind of stops in the road in front of me and he's like, And then he waves us over, and I was just like, yes! Ah! I don't know what they were waiting for.
Yeah.
Did it feel like they were waiting for somebody or something?
Yeah.
That was weird. Look at that NASCAR turned bull holler. 330 pounds of raw man steel right there, 6'7". Woo! Look at that. Little convoy, come on. All right, well, back at it. Rob threw in about 70 gallons of fuel. That'll get us down the road. Central South Dakota has quite a bit cheaper fuel. So, just enough to get us down there. We're gonna have to swing down over through Sturgis. We're gonna take Highway 34 across South Dakota. It's a couple miles further, but it's the way we're going. For the sake of keeping the peace with the peace officers. Okay, so day 2, you guys. This is where cow trucking is no longer easy money. All right, yesterday you're like, man, I cannot believe how good of money you make hauling cows. And then you run all day yesterday and all last night, and then you get your stuff tidied up this morning to make your last push in. Come about 1 o'clock this afternoon, 2 o'clock this afternoon, you're gonna just start feeling sick. Not sleepy or tired, but just feel kind of ill. Your body's just like, wow, this is enough. And this is the reality of hauling cows. It's not this is just the reality of hauling cows, right? This is how it's been since the beginning. I mean, this is how cows have always been. Anyway, come tonight, we get the big full sleep, and it's gonna be golden. It's gonna just be beautiful slumber. It's a shut your phone off, close the curtains. I'm dead to the world until the heat of the morning sun wakes me up. That's what tonight will be. But I don't want to think about that yet. We got way too many miles to go to be thinking about that. So funny thing on the internet, there's 2 ways to split gears. You can do it like this, flick that forward, let off the gas, give it gas again. And you split and you're moving. I'm gonna downshift real quick. The other way to split a gear, I'm back in that the other way. The other way to split a gear is to push that forward, pull it into neutral, push it back forward into gear. It is so silly that on the internet, anytime there's a shifting video and someone splits a gear by selecting that forward and pulling it into neutral and putting it back in, people are like, oh, you don't have to do that. Oh, you don't have to. It's like, guys, relax. There's more than one way to do about anything in the world, okay? Very rare that there's one single way to do something, and they both have a purpose, okay? I'm cruising along easy and we're just bopping along. I'm gonna flick the selector forward, let off the gas, go back to the gas, all right? That's what I'm gonna do, okay? If I'm going down a hill with my Jake brakes on and I'm building speed and I'm picking up gears and going faster down the hill, you're gonna need to split gears by pulling it out into neutral and putting it back in. It's not wrong, and this is one of my things that I just can't stand about what social media has become. Even a lot of YouTube videos are this way. It's like, you know what, why? Like, why do you have to say that? Why is somebody dogging on some guy or gal or whatever for splitting a gear by pulling it into neutral and putting it back in? When you have a newer transmission, it's great. Leave it in the hole, let off the gas, go to the gas. I've had many 13 speeds that in the very first hole in high range, for whatever reason, it'll jump the split. You flick it forward, and before you completely let off the gas, it'll lurch and grab it. So that hole in some of my older trucks, I always pulled it into neutral and pushed it back in. The other holes, when you're going a little faster for whatever reason, don't lurch and jump. This transmission's brand new. It's beautiful. You can do whatever you want. Kenworth's the same with new and beautiful. Do whatever you want. Oh, it's like, my goodness. No, it'll tear out your tranny. You're like, no, okay, it's all fine. It doesn't do either. A well cared for transmission and a nice driver will put 1 million miles on a transmission. Either way, he splits his gears. Relax. Gearing up for the old rally. Sturgis, some of the sights of Sturgis here. It's not quite rolling yet, but there's a few early birds starting to poke around. You guys, there's one in every crowd. This drives me insane. These are not for pickups. Hey, just fueling up. It's hot out. Probably half my load is laying down. They're all comfortable. Now I'm seeing why it was so important, especially to load them perfectly like I mentioned at the beginning. But you guys, here's the cool thing. I have loaded at 97,000 pounds yesterday. I've shrunk down now to probably 94, something like that. That's heavy weight, right? Pulling this quad axle trailer, climbed those 6 big mountains, over the Rocky Mountains, over the Washington, the Idaho, wampa, hammered down, driving hard in the flats, doing what I can to be decent with fuel, but still hammering. Just filled up. This is all loaded miles except for 60. I had 60 empty miles out of this. All the rest were loaded. I got 5.5 miles per gallon with this Coronado. Steaming hard, hammer down, big load in the box. Amazing. All right, yeah, it's hot. I don't know what the temperature is. I didn't check, but man, oh man. See here, you can see it. See how they're all laying down? Just relaxing. We're getting closer. Lots of trucks here. There's Big Dog over there fueling up. We'll see what he got for mileage. He's still learning that truck. So you guys, I'm in the middle of filming a YouTube episode out here, showing you how the cattle are laying down and all this. And here comes this white pickup storming over here. It's Mr. Mike, who follows the channel. So Mike's gonna have his own cameo in a YouTube video coming up. Mike's, you're from up in Montana, you said?
I'm originally from Condor.
Up from, not far from where I grew up. So birds of a feather, we gotta flock together, you guys. So appreciate you coming up and saying hi.
Hey, Tom, appreciate what you guys do.
Yeah, I love that. That was fun. I love when someone will come up and say hi. So many, you guys, there's so many, and this is you. I mean, you are the people that follow the channel. Just so many down to earth, good old down home folks. Little update, we are south of Springview, Nebraska. We just turned east. This road goes east a ways and then curves down to Bassett. Another 70, 80 miles south of Bassett, we hit Highway 2. That'll cook us right on down into our destination. So we are getting close. 95 degrees on the bank there in Springview. You know, a little ways yet to go, but gotta keep her moving. Keep that air. It's a big deal to keep the airflow going. You stop, you know, you lollygag it all when it's hot like this, the air inside that trailer gets really stagnant. So want to keep her moving. And Brewster taught me that hauling hogs back in the day. It was always, you just had to keep the heat moving. If you got stopped in traffic or construction or anything, it was just a big no good. In other news and updates, as we turn the corner here at Springview, you got to understand we are out in the rural reaches, far away from any legitimate civilization. You know, a few little tiny town type settlements here and there, a lot of ranches and things. But as I turn the corner, I see a pickup on the side of the road, facing me, kind of in the shoulder. See both driver's side doors are open on this little extended cab pickup. Somebody's there doing something, couldn't really tell. I was going pretty slow because I just turned the corner, but kind of acted like they were distressed in some way, shape, or form. As I get a little closer, I see that it's an elderly woman in a bikini and like leather boots or something. And I'm like, oh, that's like going to the lake or something, or what? And as I get a little closer, I kind of give like the wave, sort of like, everything okay? As I get closer, she produces some kind of foil, like gold foil thing, kind of waving her out and giving me this look. Big toothless grin. And again, I can't reiterate enough, we're in the middle of nowhere. And anyway, as I got closer, I realized it was an old man, probably in his early 70s. Kind of rough. top and bottom. All the man stuff was there. I don't know, guys, I don't know. But back to trucking. Oh, y'all, we are so close. We are about 45 miles out like a trout. I don't think I've ever been so excited about being somewhere. There's a road up there in a minute. We're gonna take a right. We're gonna hang a Ringo and we're gonna unload these dokies, get them on some feed, get them on some water. We're gonna turn, we're gonna burn, we're gonna westbound and down. We're gonna break the 19. We're gonna 47 to 51. We're gonna bring it on back, turn it around. Open the chute, gonna give it a boot and what am a bit on it, boys. That's what we're gonna do. Rob is back there getting in the Kenworth. He's gonna come up. This is probably one of the hardest chutes to wiggle into in, I don't want to say in the country, but probably in the country. There's a few that might be a little more janky, but for the volume of cattle that come in here, it's a little tricky. Let me kind of walk you through it. First, you have to start by hiring someone to do aerial surveillance. That way, you know what's going on up here. So it's probably hard to tell from here. Well, maybe you can tell with the wide angle. This is an extreme hill, uphill, big time uphill, whoop, that comes up. I think they're getting it a little more of a ramp every year. They kind of move more dirt in and stuff over the years since I started coming here. But it's a little tricky. So you got to come up this, and when you get up top, you're gonna think, man, I don't even know how I'm gonna get turned around here. But you'll see what I mean in a second, because there's a fence there and that's a dead end. It's just this little corner deal. So you got to bring the truck up in. You can see my tracks. You got to swoop it in right towards the corner of the office, cut sharp and come around and nose dive into the corner to get your trailer right across here. And you can see my tracks. This is where my trailer came up here, got in line here where it stopped, and then it backed in like that, whoop, to the chute. Walking you through it might not seem that tricky. You're like, oh, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that the fence right there is really close to the front end of your truck. And I've seen guys come up here with 300-inch wheelbase, long nose Pete's, and spend 30 or 40 minutes trying to wiggle around. So this is Rob's first try. If he gets it remotely close at all in his first 2 or 3 attempts, will be amazing from what I've watched over the years. All right, wheeling around, creaking and banging and suspension popping and pinging. That's the name of the game. And he's gonna tell him to straighten out once he gets his nose down in that corner. So his truck's straight, there you go. And you gotta cut it. Now you gotta just do this 45 back into here without running into the power pole with the front end of your truck. Here we go. Well, I don't want to speak too soon, but he's looking real good so far. Looking real good. He's watching his front. Keep her cutting sharp, Robbie. You got her, buddy. Looking good. If he gets this on his first try, this will be amazing. I'm gonna say bring it on. We're gonna make this work. Don't have to be exact, just gotta be real close. A little more. Wow. See him with this. So there's a little bit of a gap here, right? Tiny little gap, but nothing a cow can crawl through. You look inside, we got all that space where he made it. Dude, look at this old boy. Look at that old boy. That's NASCAR style right there. Whoo! Give me some of that. So I'm here with the winner, first guy I've ever seen in my life hit the chute on his first try in the most notoriously wicked turnaround in all of Nebraska. Rob, how does it feel to have that championship under your belt?
Well, I had the best mentor teacher right here.
All right, let's get these things out of here. These were mine. Got some of mine penned in here on water. The boys are going to show up to get them in a feed pen, but water's the big main thing. They got a nice water tank there in the middle. Rob's cattle aren't near as thirsty as mine because they had about an 850-mile run, which is still, in its own right, a good run. Wind is picking up. It'll be a windy little ride. We're trying after we're done here to get back up a few hours up the road to the washout. Sleep up there. It'll be cooled off a little by then. Ideally, we want to sleep without idling our trucks because it's terrible for your equipment. Idling your trucks is terrible. Sometimes you can't get around it. Extreme cold, extreme heat, you got to do it. But this weather where it's, you can, if you play your windows a little bit, you don't have to idle. But anyway, just where's that motor out? The Washington cattle. I don't remember if I got to, I don't think I told you this. I said I was going to explain it, and then I never did. Washington cattle, Idaho Panhandle cattle, and extreme Western Montana cattle. Just genetics on them. They just are kind of just a little slow, just slow moving, and I don't know. They're just a little different. Some guys say it's because genetics. Some guys say it's because of the grass and whatnot. That's available in that region of the country. But they just are a little different, and because of that, they suffer with some health problems sometimes when you get them in the feedlot. Just a little different, but these guys can get them bought. They're quite a bit cheaper over there because of that. So we hauled them all this way, and it still pencils out because they're so much cheaper in that region. You probably won't notice this. So this is kind of some of these Washington cattle. They're just a little, maybe a little shorter, a little squattier. Not quite as stretchy. Where these are Central Montana cattle. You can see the frame and the muscle on them real good. I don't know if you see that difference, but just different regions, little different type of cattle. Doesn't make them bad. I mean, they still definitely have their place, obviously, because they're bringing them clear out here to feed them and grow them. But they just grow a little different. That one's a little more along the lines of a Washington deal. It's just a little squattier down. Them last two in the back here. But that one, see, that one just didn't grow out very good. Okay, and then these are the last. Check out these babies. These are the oddballs. This is stuff that came into the auction and just didn't fit anything. They were all totally different, just miscellaneous, didn't grow right. Just different. There's some rope and steers. See them? Just oddball stuff. These guys, cool thing about this outfit, they'll feed everything. I mean, they're not afraid to feed anything. They just, for the right price and the right money, they'll do whatever they need to. Real good operators and know a lot about the feeding business. Been good people to work for over the years. Just to remind y'all out there in trucker land, that's the record. Butte, Montana to Cairo, Nebraska. Who did it? That guy. 75,316. Whew, that was a paying load right there. Well, you guys, there you have it. The sun is setting. I got poop on my neck. Love that. Nothing like a little poop on nothing like some poo on your neck, right? Oh my goodness. Anyways, that's it. That's the wrap. That's the beast. That's what it's like to tackle 1,300 and whatever 88 miles. It's a challenge. It ain't for everybody. There's less and less, folks on the road, people on the road that, can do this livestock thing. It's one of the last brutal things left on the road where it's just like, man alive. I hope you guys enjoyed. Rob's doing great. Really excited to have him on board, and he's so willing to learn and open and just wants to do things right. It's really refreshing. To have someone like that in the trucking industry where most people most of the time kind of know what they're doing and they know what they're doing, they don't want to learn, they don't want to be told this is how I do it. Maybe not the case with Rob at all whatsoever. So that's the old Coconado. Got some more Coronado content coming up for you. A couple interesting things. But there she is. Look at that. Beautiful.